Now I welcome Dr. Vijayalakshmi Tirulapur, Registrar Haveli University, to share a few words as a special address.
Good morning, everybody. Honorable President of today's function, Professor Chaitnis sir, inaugural addressee and the organizer of this national conference, international conference, Dr. Prakash Divakaran sir, welcome addressee, Dr. Manoj Jain sir. There are many guests of honors present over here, Dr. Sanju, Dr. Sath, Pukang, and Dr. Dapalia. And there are also special addresses present over here, Mr. Kapil Sharma, Manoj Trivedi, special invitees, keynote speakers, Chaiwat, Dr. Manoj Trivedi, Professor Dr. Pratik, Dr. Veda Madam, Amruta, Kapil Sharma, and Dr. Pastor, and all other ladies and gentlemen. Today, I deem it as my special privilege to be here before you on this very auspicious occasion of international conference that has been organized here in New Zealand. I take this opportunity to congratulate Dr. Prakash Divakaran and his team. They have been organizing all these international conferences all over the world. Dear friends, I remember the words uttered by my father. He often used to say that opportunities are seldom. That means opportunities are very rare. So whenever you get an opportunity, you have to make a proper utilization of that opportunity. In the similar way, today, many delegates are present over here, many honorable delegates, research-oriented people, academicians are present over here. I feel that we are all making proper utilization of this opportunity. So already Manoj Jain very cordially welcomed you and introduced you the Singapore and what amenities are available here. And similarly, many remarkable personalities spoke about many important topics over here. Dear friends, as I said, I am Dr. Vijayalakshmi Tirulapur. I come from India and from Karnataka. I am registered evaluation of Haveri University since 2 years, and I am extremely happy to say that I have been associated with organization since many years, and I have been participating in all the conferences that are organized by this particular organization. And what topic I am going to speak today about? So many people spoke about different topics, but I would like to take you back to the past. We are already living in the present, but there is a beautiful saying in Kannada. There is a saying, "Hindana nariyaddu mundanena balladu." That means, unless you study the past properly, unless you have a knowledge of a past, you cannot live comfortably and successfully in the present and even in the future. That is why having knowledge about the past is very essential, I feel. That what I'm going to deal with today. When we go back to the past, in the history of pages, I hope that you might be knowing the name of a Chanakya or Kautilya. So Chanakya was a great economist of India, and today I would like to say something about the relevance of Chanakya's leadership qualities in the present scenario. Then what Chanakya said about these leadership qualities, what kind of a leader was Chanakya or Kautilya? So he says, leadership without training is very dangerous. So if you become a captain of a team without knowing how to bat, then the whole team is going to be a failure. Then according to him, it is very necessary and essential that before you become a leader, training is very, very must, and a guru or a teacher's guidance is must. Further he says, that reading book is a very good start, but we can't discuss with a book. So again, he stresses on the importance that you should have a teacher. Even after reading a book, you need someone to discuss with a teacher. So similarly, the character I am presenting over here is Chanakya. He was a historical character, not just an imaginary one. And Chanakya lived 2004 years ago in Magadha, which is at present in Bihar state. There was a capital of Pataliputra, which is at present in Patna. And he was a great teacher in the Takshashila University. So when we look at this great personality, he tried to change the history of India, and he made it a golden sparrow that was called as a Sone ki Chidiya. Then you may ask me a question, wasn't India golden sparrow earlier? No doubt it was a golden sparrow, but Chanakya converted into more greater and superior golden sparrow. What was he? When we look at a Chanakya, we came to know that he is a historical personality. And what was his duty? What was his profession? He was an economist who wrote ample books on economy of the country. And further, he says that Alexander the Sikandar, he came to India for trade. At the same time, he also quotes that many people, many kings and emperors also visited India for many other reasons, may it be a trade or they might have invaded the country. But here, he says that because of Chanakya, worldwide global impact was brought in India. Today we talk about globalization and other aspects, but it was he who, Chanakya, brought global impact in India. He was the first person to bring this. Then always he thought about keeping the whole economy going in the country, which is very difficult, and keep the country rich was the pivotal duty of a Chanakya then. So dear friends, Chanakya was a teacher, I told. He studied in the Takshashila University and he wrote a very, very popular books, Chanakya Niti, that means economics book, and he also added some other books about the country's economy. How to keep the country's economy keep going, how to keep the country rich. So on other such aspects, Chanakya draws our attention in these particular books. So recently, I read a book Chanakya Niti that was written by Pillai. Pillai is also a teacher and a great author who focuses our attention on these particular aspects. Then what else was Chanakya? This particular character was a kingmaker. So he used to make ordinary figures or talented figures, I say. He used to make these people king. So for example, we have come across with a character Chandragupta Maurya. Chandragupta Maurya was made a king by Chanakya. So together Chanakya and Chandragupta Maurya together they build a nation. They build a new India. Then he wanted to create new India, and in order to create new India, he wanted to choose a leader. So what kind of a leader you have to choose? So further Chanakya says that, so when you are going to choose a leader, you choose a youth icon. So the youth has to be a leader. If you choose a young man or a woman as a leader, he or she is going to serve the nation for a lengthier period of time. So why Chanakya wanted to change the management of India, or he wanted to convert India into Sone ka Chidi? Why? What was the reason? So according to him, when we look into the history, there were 16 important kingdoms and the provisions, and all these provisions were not cordially related. There were some disputes and quarrels, there was a chaos and all other such unwanted things going on between these kingdoms, and that is why Chanakya wanted to start India as a new nation with a new concept and with a new dream. So further, so identification of the leader is very, very important, whether it is a political aspect or economic aspect, any kind of a field it may be. So when we choose a leader, one has to be very, very careful. So similarly, Chanakya further focuses our attention on some of the great universities that were performing in India. So nowadays also we come across with so many universities. Today we are here in the National University of Singapore, and we have to be extremely happy for being here for this opportunity. So in the similar way, when you compare the present universities with the olden universities or universities of the past, in India we had Nalanda University, Takshashila and Vikramashila universities, and we are very happy to know that even foreign students used to come to India for these universities. For example, you can say America and Harvard and Stanford. So apart from India, there were students used to come from foreign university to India. Then what was the speciality of all these Indian universities then? And what was the methodology of teaching here in the universities then? So further he says, as we have some experts in our universities, in the similar way, in olden universities there were also experts of various subjects, like some uncommon topic they used to discuss was Rajaniti. So along with that Rajaniti, chemistry was taught there, Rasayana Shastra and Dhatu Shastra. Probably it has become most uncommon subject nowadays. Metallurgy, Dhatu Vidya we say, and Dhanur Vidya. So nowadays probably we don't have this subject in our universities. Dhanur Vidya, that is again Dhanur Vidya bole to archery. So all these subjects were barter system. They used to exchange the food grains. Then later on we talk about the coinage system. Then who introduced this coinage system in India? That is once again none other than Chanakya. So Europeans and the Greeks, many foreign people, they visited India, and further in the olden days, as we studied, salaries were given not in the form of a money, they were given in the form of a spices. Spices were very expensive that time, that is how. And later on, carrying coins, golden coins, we know that coinage was introduced by Chanakya. So the coins were made in golden, there were golden coins and silver coins and some other copper coins, and it was extremely heavy to carry the coins. Suppose think that you are carrying 500 golden coins, that will be very dangerous. Again, that will be very heavy to carry. That is why they changed the concept, coins converted into notes. When they become notes, it was easy to carry, lighter weighted. And after that, it was converted into check, where a check. Then later on, digital economy. So nowadays, we are all in the digital world, like Paytm and PhonePe, and mode of a transaction, it is been changing day by day. And similarly, here IT companies are dealing with the whole process. All the banks are dealt by IT companies nowadays. So again, whatever this barter system started in India, that was started by Chanakya. Later on, it changed to coinage system, and nowadays it has come to IT banking system. So the credit should go to again Chanakya, the historical person. So dear friends, they also refer occult, O-C-C-U-L-T, occult. The meaning of this occult is black magic. So in the olden days, we have heard that this black magic was used by even the great emperors. When we take the example of Ramayana, Dasharatha king did not have children. That is why he organizes Putra Kameshti. That was one yajna, yaga. So Putra Kameshti yaga he started, and we have heard that God appears in the fire, in the sacred fire, and he gives him a glass of a payasam. And when the Dasharatha and his wives, they had that payasam, they had children later on. So that was a story. And here, when I talk about magic, he refers to magic here. One is a black magic and another is white magic. And when we speak about black magic, it is a negative magic, and white magic is a positive magic we need to have in our life. So apart from this, even nowadays we see that our great politicians, before entering into elections, they perform such yajnas, pujas, yagas, and they involve themselves into white magic, which is spiritually supported one and which is going to fill some positive energy in everybody. But similarly here, black magic was existing in the olden days also. Even nowadays, some backward African countries and some American country people also make use of this black magic wherever it is necessary. But when it comes to Chanakya, then how would Chanakya use this black magic? Did he ever use it for his personal gaining, personal profit? No, never. When it comes to Rajaniti, when it comes to again big warfares and war, then Chanakya used to use this black magic for the good of a nation, for the support of a nation. But in the similarly, he advises that one should have this white magic spiritual aspect in everybody's life, especially the present youth. They are just forgetting their culture and that etiquettes and that spirituality and everything. So according to Chanakya, he advises all the youngsters to follow this white magic. And finally, he says that the leader should be intuitive. So that is again in Sanskrit said as Anivikshiki. Anivikshiki means Sochne ka vidya, always thinking about. It's a science of a strategic thinking. One has to always keep thinking. For example, suppose think that if you are a bodybuilder, always you are thinking that what kind of food I have to consume, what kind of exercises I have to indulge. So based on your profession and based on your capacity, one has to always intuitive, anavikshiki. So further this spirituality as well as meditation, he quotes meditation also in his books. He says that meditator will be the successful in every field. So we note that even Americans, even in America, big business people and big business tycoons and professionals, and they all follow spiritual aspects and they follow meditation in their daily life. That is how they could become a successful leader. Dear friends, I have read this book recently. There are not many things to share here, but the time given to me is limited one. Extremely happy to meet you all over this international conference. Meeting you is a really nice thing on single platform. So wishing you all a very, very successful stay here in the international conference. I take leave from this dais. Thank you one and all for your patient listening. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Vijayalakshmi M. Tirlapur, Registrar, Haveri University, for her insightful words and motivators.